Hi everyone, I thought I would just show you a flip through of my completed mini album using the Paige Evans embroidery hoop mini album kit, and I'll show you the 4 layouts that I've made with the kit as well. It's a great value kit, there's loads in it and you can make lots of things as you're just about to see. Alright, so here is my completed mini album. I learned a few things along the way, which is why I thought I would explain those to you and show you what I did. So to paint the embroidery hoop, I actually used a watercolor paint, but I had to paint it first with white paint. So I used white acrylic, painted it, let that dry, and then I did a coat of the blue watercolor paint. It's one of the Campbella ones, and then I let that dry, and then I gave it another coat too. So that's that. Everybody's ribbon is slightly different. You might have the same as me, or you might have a different one. What I would say is that my circles, let's measure them. My circles are 4.5 inches, and they are ever so slightly too big. They do fit within the embroidery hoop. However, they would have fit better if they were 1/4 inch smaller. Also, my point about that is that when I did my my stitching, I nearly ran out. It was very difficult to go all the way around with a chain stitch with the lengths of thread. Now, the lengths of thread are exactly the same as what is recommended by Paige. However, I think my circles are slightly bigger, in which case I would highly recommend yours are slightly smaller, and that you maybe make your chain stitch slightly further in as well to make your threads go further. Alternatively, you could go to 3 strands instead of 6, which would obviously double your thread. So that's just a couple of points to note. So here is the mini album itself. You can see that I just adapted things from Paige's design to suit what I had in my kit. So I had the stickers and the phrase thickers or icons in mine. I didn't have the chipboard or the puffy stickers or anything else. So I just had those and I did just do my best with what I had. There we go. These are single-sided circles, so what you chain stitch on one side will be just a running stitch on the other side. Again, just added my photos. I'm just making my photos work with the album rather than print them to size. So this one I'd got printed, so I just had to, I cut it and then stitched across the top there to hold it in place, and that lifts up. There it is. All right. Oh, there's 2. I knew there was another one. Okay, so I just made it work. You know, ultimately I had to cut the top off of my photo because my photo wasn't big enough for the whole circle, but you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out and make it work. All right, so, and that one there is a shaker pocket. So I've used the sequins and a piece of the acetate to cut a circle, and I stitched that using my sewing machine, but you could do that using hand stitching, or you could just stick it. So that's that page there. Some of the pom-pom trim from the mixed embellishment kit, which is in your embellishment bags. This one here is the circle, and then I have fussy cut out from the remaining piece of this paper some of the flowers and layered those on top. They're very, very cute. I love those, and added some sequins. This one here is very straightforward, just one photo. Paige's album had 2, but say I went with what worked for me. And I've got my title there, and then I've just added some of the epoxy buttons and the wooden buttons that are from your kit, and then I had some of the smaller ones from the sticker sheet too. Then this one here, very straightforward. I did a journaling page, so I just used a journaling piece there. That is from the cut apart sheet. That one I used the frame from the thickers. If you don't have those, see what other frames you do have, or you could just have a normal photo in there. That would work perfectly well too, or you could even have a circular one. And some butterflies. And then here, I just layered up a tag from the cut apart sheet, tied my twine through all of my tags, little photo, bit of the ruffled trim, and then a couple of embellishments, so nothing huge. And then finally in the back cover, I just added some pretty bits, whatever I could find. I backed, so to back the whole embroidery hoop, I just drew around the embroidery hoop and cut it out and stuck it on. I used glossy accents. I think hot glue would also work well, and the ribbon just goes underneath all of those embellishments on there and sits either side. Nothing complicated there. Some fussy cut butterflies from that same paper, just gives a bit of extra detail on that back part there. Okay, so that's those sections. Now we go back the other way and look at the other sides. I'll open the whole thing out again for you in just a moment. So this one, I've just got concentric circles going smaller and a few embellishments, and I've used one of the titles. That's just a decorative page. You could replace that with a photo. Those are both from the cut apart sheet. This one is just a single photo with So Lovely and a couple of embellishments. You don't need a lot, you know. These are very small pages, so you don't need a lot of embellishments. So I just felt that rather than create a kit that had every single embellishment from the collection in it, it was better to only have two, because it made it more affordable, and there's still plenty. This one here, I did a little fold out, so I just made, with some scrap white card, I mounted my photos onto those, and then I just did a little row on the sewing machine down there, and then I made myself a little booklet. I could write some journaling in there. This side, photo and tag from the cut apart sheet plus some embellishments, and this is just a decorative page, and you can see that mostly on this side I've got the chain stitching. On the other side it's running stitch. I think one of them I only had running stitch on both sides, rather than, so I was losing the will to live with the chain stitch. So I didn't do it on everything. There was two that I didn't. Right, okay, so this is where it gets a bit tricky because you won't be able to see all of it. Let's go this way round to begin with, because that is the front of the album. All right, so this is how it all works. Okay, and then I'll turn it over. Oops, whoops. I'll start from this end, and that's the flip up. Okay, now the way it's bound together is with little squares of pattern papers. Now once I'd got them stuck on, I didn't really like them because I felt that they didn't really go, like they don't match the papers. So maybe give that a little bit more thought when you're choosing your squares as to which squares to use. But they are just, I think they are, let's have a look, they are 1.5 inch square pieces that have been cut, and then they just stick over the top of the stitching and everything. Now I worry about them coming off, especially on the front cover, because it has a lot of you know, it gets used a lot, that front cover. So I have actually stitched that on there as well. You could do that on every one, but I haven't. I've only done it on the front cover. And then also, because I didn't like the look of the squares, I then cut around the circles and cut little V shapes. Now that means that this is very fragile, so you may not want to do that, but I just preferred the look of it. And then on the other side, of course, you can't see really can't see where they're bound together because they're on the other side, and I've cut the V's as well. So okay, and then when it comes to attaching to the embroidery hoop album itself, I found that bit a little bit tricky. So what I did was I made my 1.5 inch square here, because this is where I'm going to attach it, and then I trimmed it to fit inside the circle. So I placed it in position and then bent it all together and then just trimmed off across there. I hope you can understand what I'm talking about. And then I just stapled it. Can you see there? It's stapled to the ribbon itself. All right, and I'm hoping that that will work well enough. It seems to be holding up and holding in place. So yeah, all right, so let's put all this back together. Just concertina folds back into position. There we are, and the ribbon is behind and tied up. Okay, so that is the mini album. I hope that that's given you a bit of an idea. Obviously, Paige's instructions are available to purchase separately. I didn't purchase them myself. I just went through and used her photos to make the album. So it's up to you whether you buy them or not. But they are available to purchase separately. All right, so that is the mini album. And then we'll move on to the 4 layouts. There we go. I will just zoom out, bear with me. There we are. Okay, so there's the 4, here are the 4 layouts. So I was completely in love with this big stripe, this stripe paper across the, so I've used that across the top with a couple of torn layers underneath there. Just thought this, these colours were lovely. From the remaining part of the wee paper, I've fussy cut out a load of flowers, and then I've used like even these little white ones, and I've used those at various points throughout all of the layouts. I think there's one up there as well, and then I've used the cut apart sheet to my full advantage. These are both from the cut apart sheet, and then I've just embellished with whatever I had. I used my titles. I could have used this as my title, but I had lots of phrases, so I tried to use them up where I could. And then I've got some fussy cut butterflies from the Free to Fly paper as well. This is a circle cut from the middle of this layout. So this golden colour, mustard colour, is on the back of this button paper. So I cut this circle, and then from this circle I cut this circle, and then I cut a circle inside it, so it became an open circle or a hoop. All right, so that's how I did that. But that's layout 1. This is layout 2. All the circles, I love circles, so I just went through and used up loads of the pattern papers. Some I've cut with dies, but some I've just used a compass and cut them out, drawn them and cut them out. I did that for the middle, distressed the edges, put foam pads on the back of the aperture, and then mounted it on the back with white card. You will need to add 4 sheets of white card to this kit. That's not included this time. I'd already released this kit without the layouts, you see, so I can't now add to it. But yeah, so anyway, you'll need to add 4 sheets of white card. But this one's very simple, just lots of circles, and then some embellishments, and just have fun with it, really. All right, that's that one. Layout 3 is this one here onto a sheet of white card. You could even do without the white card on this one and just have the black and white pattern paper as the full background, although I do use the offcuts from that here. But if you didn't have any white card, you could definitely do that, or you could choose a different paper or different coloured card to go as your wide mount. So I've just got my 3 photos on there, a bit of a boy layout. It's I went for yellows and greens, and obviously the black and white floral in the background, and just these are from the cut apart sheet. I've got embellishments from the sticker sheet. These are both from the cut apart sheet. Photos are all mounted. So yeah, so again, a nice, quite a simple layout to put together there. And then we come to the more challenging layout, which, you know, I couldn't let you have a kit without a very challenging layout. So in your kit, you'll either have this paper, which is the light blue grey on one side and it's black and white hearts on the other side, or you will have this paper here, which is beautiful blue florals. If you can avoid fussy cutting them for the purpose of this layout, then go for it, but they are beautiful. And on the back is this beautiful dark blue, so you could use that one, well, you would have to use that one instead of this one. So either use the floral side or the blue side, but we already have a blue here, so you might want to swap that out for something else, or just swap these 2 round, something like that. So then, yeah, so this is made with that whole sheet. It's cut into 3 strips of, I think they're 4 inches, and then they're concertina folded all the way along, ends stuck together, and they go into a rosette. There is a full process video for this layout, so have a look at that for all the details on how to make the rosettes. But yes, so the offcuts that were remaining from the rest of this kit after I'd made the mini album and all the layouts was this big sheet, and then I had 2 strips of this, 2 strips of this, and then smaller strips of the black and white from the offcuts from the previous layout. One from the wee paper and one of the colourful stripes as well. I've also got more of the fussy cut flowers from the wee paper, and then butterflies from the free to fly paper. There. All right, so, and I used a hot glue gun for this one, and I got them all made, assembled, and then stuck them onto the background paper with the hot glue. So okay, so let's say I just wanted to talk you through the mini album and the 4 layouts. I really hope that if you bought this kit, you're enjoying it. You'll get lots of value, certainly lots of value in that kit. So yeah, enjoy your making, and yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Bye.